Hello, everyone. Mike Volkin here with Freelancer Masterclass and the Freelancer School podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make 35% more money freelancing instantly. So how do we do that? Well, I have identified 7 common mistakes that I have noticed after working with hundreds of freelancers. And even one of these mistakes could help tremendously, but a combination of these mistakes could increase, stopping these mistakes could increase your revenue 35% or more. So let's talk about the first one, which alone would increase your revenue 35% more. Stop doing this. It's working 8 to 5. All right. This is especially for new freelancers who have been accustomed to the corporate world where they clock in at 8 and they clock out at 5. It's their work day. But advances in neuroscience lately show us the optimal time that the human brain can be productive is what's called flow. And you as a freelancer need to keep in flow, keep ultra productive and ultra efficient. So what is that flow time? The optimal time a human brain can stay focused is around 52 minutes given a 17-minute break. Now, what you should be doing is working for 52 minutes and then taking a break and doing something else for 17 minutes. So if you're in front of a computer, then your 17-minute break, you're going to step away and, I don't know, take your dog for a walk or something. All right. That is the way you should work. And it's tough. If you love what you're doing and you need to get your teeth into it and really just start writing, it's tough to get away after every 52 minutes. But I'm telling you from experience, that time will come back to you threefold or more because you'll be super productive when you come back. So make that a habit. Mistake number 2. Had to get a drink there. Inconsistent prospecting. When times get busy, freelancers stop prospecting for work. It's just natural. You'd say, well, I'm so busy. Why should I spend time prospecting for work? But there's a lag time usually between when a prospect actually needs you to work like right away and when you're developing a relationship with them. Almost always, with just a few exceptions, I would say probably on average less than 20%, does a prospect need you right now. And even if they do, then there's a problem with that prospect. That client is probably not the best one to work with because they're very reactive and they're going to be that client that needs everything done right away. What you're doing when you're freelancing is you're developing relationships, and you might need to talk to someone now for a job 3 months from now. So you should always block off at least an hour of every day, either networking with your existing network to bring in referrals or taking in new prospect calls to start a new relationship. Mistake number 3, accepting all work. Too many freelancers just accept all work that comes to them. And I understand it. I was there at the point for many years where I wanted the billable hours. I needed to fill my calendar. But I'm telling you from experience that you need to start filling your calendar with work that interests you the most. You need to start saying no. There's been so many authors, notable businessmen that says the best word in business, the best thing you can do for your business is to say no, because that way your brain, your mind stays focused consciously and subconsciously on the work that you need to fill your calendar with. I'm telling you, you need to start saying no to work that comes in that doesn't suit the highest and best value of work that you can do. Mistake number 4, setting your rate incorrectly. Set your hourly rate too low and you come off as cheap, and you're also telling your prospects and clients, hey, I might even go even lower. I'm trying to be the low price leader. All right. And then there's the flip side of that, setting it too high and you price yourself out of a job. Maybe your value and your experience don't exude what you're trying to do. I had an agency where I had a low level marketing manager. Let's just say she was bad at what she did. Right. I got rid of her really fast after her first couple of deliverables with a client. So then I saw her on Upwork and she was charging more than me. And she had less than a quarter of the experience, and she was sloppy, and English wasn't even her first language, and she was trying to work in the US market, and it was just a mess, and she stopped getting work from what I heard from someone else. It's like, why would you price yourself that high? She just got a big ego. She worked with me, which was, she was using a name with clients, and my agency, which was, had a good name at the time, had a good name until shut down the agency. But the best way to say this is if you price yourself too high, given the value that you're giving to your clients and the way you sell yourself, you're just not going to get very much work. So how do you set your rate correctly? Well, there's a lot of ways to do this. The easiest way is to subtract 3 zeros from your goal. That doesn't really show what value you're going to give to clients, but let's just say that your goal is 100,000 a year, right? You subtract 3 zeros from 100,000, that equals $100. That's your hourly rate, $100. Now, see if you can get booked with that. If you can't, you got to lower your rate. If you're too full with work, then you've got to increase your rate. So use that as like a central guideline to kind of play around with where you should be in terms of what value you can provide to your clients. Okay. Mistake number 5, not limiting communication with clients. Freelancers want to react fast to their clients. It's just natural. But it's actually a productivity killer for your business if every time, oh, I just heard my phone go off. Let me go reply. Oh, I just saw this message in Facebook come up. Oh, I just got a text message. And you might say, but Mike, how would I lose clients being a great communicator? Well, that's the difference here. You're not being a great communicator. You're being a fast communicator. This is the way, and we talk about this in Freelancer Masterclass. This is the way you need to structure your communication with your clients. When you first bring on a client, you tell them, you give them a welcome emails, and this is what it's be like working with me. This is the way I can provide the best value. And one of those bullet points is, I respond to my emails 3 times a day, or 1 time a day, whatever. I will respond to all emails within 1 business day or 2 business days, whatever you're comfortable with. I do not respond to messages on this, and this. Now, I tell them specifically, I do not respond to Slack, on Skype. If you want to get a hold of me, the best way is through email. Do not text me. I do not respond to texts. Texts are for emergencies, for family members only. Again, the best way to get a hold of me is through email. That's what I say. That way, they know exactly what to expect, and they will respect your time more when you do that. Now, here's another big issue with this, is when you start responding to your clients on all these different platforms, and maybe the second month goes by and you're just a little bit slower. Maybe instead of responding right away, you respond every 20 minutes, which is still a great response rate. But then your clients see that as a drop off in performance. Okay. Even though you're responding faster than 99% of all the freelancers, you're still showing yourself as someone who isn't responding as well as you previously did. So you're setting an unrealistic expectation for yourself, and you're going to be a slave to all sorts of different communication methods. I have this freelancer that I work with. He's just working 80 hours a week, and the actual productivity is like 2 or 10 hours. Like, he's hardly doing anything because they got all these clients, and he's always just blah, 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 just responding to different Skype messages and Slack, and he's hardly ever get a chance to actually work on clients' work. And they drop him because he doesn't get anything done. You don't want to get stuck in that rat hole. Mistake number 6, using the try, fail, and give up approach. This is very common for marketing, and even marketers do this unknowingly. Marketing works very well if you want to market yourself, okay? Only if you have your approach dialed in. So I had this freelancer trainee, so I'm his mentor, and he says, Mike, I set up this marketing funnel to bring in some high-value client, and the top of the funnel started with Google Ads. So I threw $200 into Google Ads, and then I stopped because I wasn't getting any calls. And I said, how do you know $200 is enough? And how many clicks did it get to your website? Oh, I got 13 clicks or 30 clicks, whatever he said. And it was barely even enough. He spent all this time setting up this funnel with this webinar and this free call to action, and he's going to calls, and he had this VA that was going to answer phones, and he gives it a try for 18 clicks or whatever it was, just a ridiculously low number. So when you set up marketing, you have to give it its due time to be able to see if it works. And if it's not working, don't shut it down. Revamp it. Where was it in the funnel that was working? Was it the text on the ad? Was it something on the landing page? Was it the call to action? Like, what was that wasn't working? Don't shut it down. All right. And the last tip I want to talk to you about, the mistake, is working without goals. Working without goals is like getting in a car to drive somewhere but having no destination. All right, you should be reviewing your goals weekly. I personally have a yearly goal. I make them, I chunk out in quarterly installments, so every quarter, every 3 months. And then I put in my calendar every week to review where I'm at. If I'm ahead of the goal, great. How can I keep up that momentum? If I'm behind the goal, what did I do wrong? How can I change things? In Army, we call that the AAR, the Action Review. So we're always reviewing our goals, reviewing what mission we just had, and then figuring out what went right and what went wrong. And every single week for an hour, and it's the best hour I spend on my business, and it makes me the most money. And the goals don't have to be monetary. All right, they can be anything, whatever your goal is. If it's to spend more time with your daughter or your spouse, or maybe it's to work your goal is to work out of your house more, whatever it is. Your goals have to be written down and checked out in baby steps. Almost just they have to be reviewed often. So any one of these are changed. If you change any one of these in your business, you're going to do fine, and you could possibly increase your revenue instantly 35%. If you're doing any of the mistakes, you can stop doing them, and you'll see an instant increase in revenue. Good luck.